Hello, and thanks for joining us today. I'm joined by Raphael Niston. He is the co-founder of Bricks and Agent. Raphael, how are you doing?
David, fantastic. I'm on my 8th week of lockdown here in Sydney, Australia, so couldn't be better.
And any sign of that letting up at any point?
Doesn't look too great until the end of the year, it doesn't seem. We just got extended by another another month today. So we'll be locked down until at least the end of September, which was supposed to be July, then August, then September. So you can see there's a trend happening here, and it's not a good trend.
So that's a special plea to all our viewers and listeners today. Please keep Raphael busy. He'll be going out of his mind otherwise, right?
100%, mate.
Um, so, Raphael, give us a little bit of a brief overview. I mean, we spoke off camera about what it is that Bricks and Agent do, and obviously you're sat in Sydney at the moment. So, tell us what Bricks and Agents deliver potentially to UK agents, and a little bit about your background.
Sure. So we sort of started on this journey about 5 years ago, just under 5 years ago now. And we started to look at how we would solve for maintenance, which is obviously the most complex and time-consuming process a property manager has. And from all the data that we've collected through the millions of jobs that we've processed over the years, we've worked out that a property manager is now managing more properties than ever. And there's a pressure on fee because there's a lot of new property management agencies that are reducing the price. So what that's correlated to is property managers are now managing more properties than ever. So they need systems to help them, because on average, there's 20 touch points per maintenance request, 2.7 maintenance requests per property per year. So what that means is a property manager just with 100 properties has 5,400 touch points on maintenance alone. So there's a huge risk that they get overloaded with everything else they have to do. So we solve for that issue and that problem first up.
And a lot of that sort of time spent in chasing up maintenance is very administrative, and it can be extremely time consuming without necessarily delivering to a bottom line. So what I mean by that is, yeah, a tenant will call you, say, I've got a leak, and you'll say, thank you, I'll come back to you. You pick up a phone to the plumber and you say, we've got a leak. And they say, right, I can be there Tuesday at 2 o'clock. You're back on the phone to the tenant. Then you have to get on the phone to the landlord, back on the phone to the plumber. If that's 8 phone calls before you've even started it. And I suppose anybody that's thought about the amount of time that their staff spend on dollar productive behavior, if you like, or pound productive behavior, as we'd referred to it here, that saps the joy out of the lettings and management industry.
Yeah. It's terrible. I mean, they're spending up to 60%, if not more, of their day dealing with maintenance. And I think to your point earlier on, we had it summed up great by a veteran property manager of more than 20 years. She said her day in maintenance is like a glass of water. It sits on her desk. She has a sip. By the time she puts it down, it's full again. That's what she related the maintenance to. And to your point, exactly what's happening. Calls, emails, spreadsheets, all these manual processes, in addition to everything else that the property manager has to do in and of a day.
So I mean, this is solving a huge issue, and it's an age-old issue really with our industry, and I'd imagine it's much the same over there in Australia as over here. Maintenance has always been dealt with in the same way, but now we have the technology to make our lives more productive, and I think it probably streamlines the process. And it, if I'm not mistaken, not only is it going to add to your bottom line in terms of time and making your staff's life easier, but it's also going to improve the consumer process and the experience of the customer, both from the landlord and the tenant point of view.
Correct. I mean, the biggest reason that tenants vacate a property is because they feel that it's not well maintained. So if we can keep all of those parties in one ecosystem and all the communication is seamless and there's transparency across all methods, it makes for a lot of simplicity. So in terms of what we've built, we've got what we've coined omni-channel maintenance. So you can post a maintenance request using WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, SMS, automated email, automated call, Google Home, the mobile app, WeChat, Siri, Alexa. We don't care how you post a maintenance request. So what we're trying to do is stop the tenant from doing all of these steps or calling a property manager saying, I've got a leaking tap. and they say, where's the leaking tap? How much is it leaking? Or a one-line email. And they're trying to collect this data, which is a nightmare in and of itself. And then, you know, the owners on the other side, the owner saying, what is this repair? What do I need to do? Why is this an issue for? Do I actually need to approve this? So they can also use the same omni-channel tools to communicate with the owner as well. And by collecting that data well up front, where you've got pictures and or videos, and you've got a full description that we run through a triage or troubleshooting guide, the property manager has got all the information that they can share with the owner, and in turn, they can share that with the trade or the contractor, so that when they go to do the job, they've got all the information at their fingertips, basically.
Fantastic. So talk to us about I've got a fairly good idea about what you guys do, because I've used similar systems in the past. But I know that every platform has some key innovations that are particular to you guys. So tell me about your take on this.
Yeah, look, I suppose what we wanted to do is remove the manual and mundane. That's the main thing that relates in the property management world with regards to maintenance. So how do we do that in a way that uses smarts and technology? So our whole platform is based on machine learning, and we use the insights that we collect from all these maintenance jobs to help property managers make smart decisions. So for example, we can tell you how long it takes to change a washer in a tap in the centre of London. We can tell you how much that job's going to cost. We can tell you where the trade's going to be and when they're going to be available. We've got all of the smarts to be able to suggest to property managers what they need to do without them having to think and do a lot of the heavy lifting required to do it. So, you know, even to the extent where, because we have a trade platform that links in with what we've built, we can tell if a trade has too much work and that they're overloaded, because we can see their time to complete work is increasing, their ratings are decreasing, and the number of jobs are blowing out. Because what property managers do is they say, this is my favorite trade, and they just keep
they just load that guy.
and they just fall apart.
We're guilty of doing that within the industry. We ruin people. That's what we do. So we find somebody that we particularly like, and we just overload them with work, and then to the point that we can't stand them then afterwards, because they're no longer able to get to it. So I suppose this levels the playing field a little bit for both sides.
Well, we never see a trade ever saying, I've got too much work. They'll just keep accepting it until they just don't get any work anymore. And we've also built a full rules and automation engine that sits inside the platform that does all of that heavy lifting, reminds trades, automate closing of invoices, automate the tenant process. If a tenant posts a maintenance request after hours and it's marked as urgent, we can send it to the contractor straight away via SMS or via WhatsApp or via email, and they can go out and complete those work. So all of these little things that help a property manager's life is what we've built in our solution.
And in terms of your platform and accessing it, obviously for trades to be able to use it effectively, or for contractors to get a grasp of it, very often they can be sometimes a little bit tech phobic, because they're used to being on the tools and they don't like to play around with stuff. Is it fairly straightforward? Is it user friendly?
Yeah, well, look, we've got 22,000 trades, I think, use our platform all day, every day. And we have a raft of different people that use it. So we've got tech savvy people, we've got very non-tech savvy people. We're built with cloud first, mobile first, so they can use the device, they can use the mobile app. And we've built a whole suite of tools like check-in, check-out, GPS tracking, sign-on glass, integrations with software like Xero or QuickBooks or Mile, different integrations with different accounting packages. But also, if we've got trades that don't like technology, they've got their own software that run their business, we've built an automation email. So what happens is the trade will send us an email, we'll strip all the data out of that email, whether it's an invoice or a quote, with pictures and or videos, we'll attach it through, and then it will appear on the dashboard for the property manager to go, yep, that's correct. And then it will pass back through to their property management software ready for payment.
Fantastic. Raphael, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.